Hey, you guys, it's Bernadette of BernadetteGold.com. So I'm going to give you a second to get in here, a minute, whatever, while my daughter shares this on my timeline and in Burning Gold. If you are not in my group, it's just our community, spiritual, open-minded people looking to connect with other like-minded people. Get in that group. It's facebook.com/burning or /groups/Burning Gold. Hi, Lisa. Super excited. Tonight is our coaching night, and we're going to talk about flipping the script in Charm Life, and then work on some forgiveness stuff. So whoever's coming to coaching tonight, I can't wait to see you guys. And we're going to do this topic tonight. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Kelly. I just talked to you. You inspired this post, so this live stream. Yeah, we're going to talk about how to deal with the gaslighting, the devaluing, the verbal attacks from narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths. And let me just tell you, hi, Elaine, from Mexico, or no, you're in Martinique. Hello. The reason that I'm sharing this is because there's a few of you that I've talked to in the last day or two that have asked questions in readings or whatnot, coaching sessions with me about how to deal with your partners, your family, your whatevers that are narcissistic, sociopathic, or psychopathic. And while there's small variations to those personality disorders or mental illnesses, when they come against you, when they attack you, it can be really off-putting. It can be really confusing. And I was talking to someone earlier today that is on this live stream, and she reminded me that this is one of the techniques I use. So just to clear this up for you, how do I know so much about narcissists? Because I've lived through it many occasions, and the last one was a great education for me. And I am so very grateful for that education. You have no idea. I'm like so grateful because I learned so much more on such a deeper level, and I was able to overcome it. So what they do, they love bomb you, right? And here's the thing you guys first need to understand, because if your partner's with someone who's a narcissist or whatever, or a family member, and I went through that growing up too, everyone sees that person as, oh, they're so nice, they're so great, and you're like, but no, they're not. Like, their true nature, the way they really act, really not a nice thing, but people don't see that. So what do they see? What did you fall in love with? Or during the good times with family members who are narcissists, what is it that drew you to them, whether it's friends or whatever? The way that personality, those personality disorders work is that they have to project everything out onto somebody else in order to see it. They don't recognize that that's not their own behavior, or that that's their behavior. Instead, they project it. So it'd be like me feeling and doing things that are wrong and then saying, you did it, you do this, you do that, right? That's how that works. And it becomes very confusing because you're like, no, it's not me. You're talking about yourself. But what do you fall in love with? So when they love bomb you, what you're basically seeing and why you get along so well with them, you think they're so awesome, and why other people don't see it, is because they're projecting a mirror of you or other people, projecting the greatest qualities in a mirror, to where you're basically talking to a mirror. You're falling in love with a mirror, right? Like, but you think it's them because it's coming out of their mouth, between their words, their actions, and all that love they give you. But then they move into the devalue stage, right? They move into the dismissal stage. And that's when things get really cranked up and get very confusing, and the gaslighting begins, and all the rest of the BS that goes along with it, them, putting you down. Sometimes it turns to physical abuse, and then it moves into, building up an army where they tell all their friends, or they tell everyone that it's you, and the very things they're doing, they say you're doing, right? So nobody believes you. They think they're such a great person, and then you feel very isolated and alone. Better to invest in a pet parrot. Exactly, right? Yeah. That Kelly was asking me about that. Do they parrot? They do parrot. They do. So One of the things we do with our narcissistic partners, we try to work things out because we want to get them back to that place where they're love bombing the hell out of us, right? When they're telling us everything's great and how wonderful that we are and how much it's hard to get them back there once they go through that loop. But what they do, if you tell them, point out the problems, point out what's going on, is they'll say you are the one doing it. So say like last week, I tell my partner, you don't listen, you say you're going to do something, you don't do it, you're not committed, and then you said this, and this. They will literally parrot word for word verbatim what you said to them as if it was theirs to begin with. Like it's an original thought, an original observation, but now they flipped it around, turned the tables on you and saying, you did that. And you're like, wait a minute. Now I'm going crazy and my head's spinning like the girl in The Exorcist because I said that to you last week. And they're like, no, you didn't. If you try to call them on it, you're going to get absolutely nowhere. So understand that's part of that disorder. Like they have this uncanny ability to parrot it back. And they are literally parroting back what you've said. Make sense? Okay, so how do you handle it? This is where it gets fun. Because if you've been in one long enough, it probably feels very overwhelming when, you're always on pins and needles, on walking on eggshells. You don't want to set them off in a way where they're going to go on the attack on you, right? The verbal attack, and start to cut you down and tell you all the things wrong with you. You're this and you're that, you're stupid, right? You're not kind. Remember my ex, narc, started telling me things like, in fact, I had to call Brenda one night after coaching because she did a hot seat with me and I had to call her on some stuff, and he happened to be watching that coaching thing, and he was like, you're not very nice, and went on to tell me all the things wrong with the way that I do what I do, even though he was just impressed with it like 2 weeks prior. Now he's telling me how wrong it is, and I think it triggered him. Basically, he didn't ever want to be in my hot seat and be called on his BS. And I remember I called her and I just said, is everything okay? I have to apologize. And I was in such a state of confusion, and, your daughter's husband, that sucks. And she's like, no, you were fine. And I had to go watch the replay to make sure that I was catching it. But that was the beginning of his discard and dismissal phase. And I never experienced to that extent. And he was a social worker, so he was really good. He was really smart. He knew exactly what to say to take me down, and told me I wasn't humble, all these other things that were true about him, not about me. My mistake was personalizing it and not recognizing it. So what I learned to do, and this is where it gets fun. You guys ready? When you're listening to these things being said about you that aren't really about you, but that it's the you did this, you're like that, blah, blah, blah. When you're hearing it and they're on their little spin, and I like to think of them as a spinning top. They've got all this energy and they're trying to spin it out, and it's all smacking out there to everyone around them, right? When they're in the spin and they start to say those things, I want you to listen to it from the standpoint of you are doing like an uncovering, you are investigating, you are learning, because everything they're saying about you, right? They're flipping onto you that's true about them. It's not about you, but they can't even see that or recognize it. So you're not going to change them. And if you think you are, go get help right now. But when they're saying those things, I want you to listen from the standpoint of, when they're saying you did this and you did that, I'm not personalizing this. I'm gaining information. Let's see how this person really feels about themselves. So if they're like, you're stupid, you're inconsiderate, you don't have this done, you don't do that. Even if there's little things in there like you didn't have dinner done right on time when they walk through the door, you're thoughtless, you're careless, all those things, take that information in and flip it in your mind. Because basically what they're saying is, I'm not thoughtful, I'm not caring, I'm a piece of crap, on and on and on. They're revealing, projecting out there onto you what's really going on internally. And while they can't see it within themselves, so they have to project it, right? When they're saying these things and they're going on the verbal attack, instead of personalizing, all you have to do is flip it in your head. Flip it in your head and hear it like, so you're really thinking that you are thoughtless and careless, a liar, a cheater, blah, blah, blah. Okay. in that way, you're not going to emotionally react if you're busy in your head flipping it. You're also not going to feel bad about having to listen to it. They're basically giving you the whole like disorder laid out. So then when they, slow down and you think maybe they're done or whatever, say to them, is there anything else? Is there more? Because if you can say like, is there more? And you do want to hear it, you guys. Like you want to hear this stuff. Because that way, as you're flipping it, you know exactly what's going on with this person, right? Just don't personalize it. So is there more? Is there anything else? You need to become very neutral. And that's going to piss them off. And I will warn you, you might have to play act. If you're trying to regain your power and get out of the victim mode, you might have to play act a little bit the way that you would normally react when you were very confused about what was going on here and when you were being very victimized. So you might have to play act and oh, I'm so sorry. Do it without a smile on your face. Don't do it like I do. Play. I'm really good at playing that role. And if they want to see that I'm weak, I will pretend like I am. All the while in my head, just flipping this stuff, just turning it and going, so you're thoughtless, you're careless, you're a moron, you have a problem with being humble. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Give me more. That's how I take this stuff on. Give me more. Tell me more. Right? And then you did this and and it's the stuff they did. And you're like, oh my God, crazy. You did that, not me. Like you could tell them the time, the date, and you're like, how are you flipping this stuff around? But don't even argue with them. Just agree with them. Okay. Okay. Anything else? So much more fun, right? Less victim-like. And then play the role. Don't argue with them. If they are getting enraged and you live with that person because they're not getting an emotional reaction out of you, just take on the soap opera drama role of your life and, play act some tears. Don't argue. I've tried so hard. I don't know what else to do. I'm so sorry, honey. Do what you got to do to shut that stuff off. Okay. But all the while in your head, like, take note and then go journal it. Go journal everything they said. It's not about you. It's about them. They're just projecting it out there like vomit where they can see it, even though they can't clean it up. Okay? Don't take it personally. That's the best advice I have for you when you're dealing with these different people, especially holidays. I mean, we're a week and a half away from Christmas, right? It's going to be, if you guys have family members who are that way, then get a restraining order for sure if they're physically abusive. When you leave a narc, you got to go absolutely no contact. None. Absolutely nothing, because they do not let go. You are an object. If it's a sociopath, psychopath, or narcissist, you are not a person. You are an object. You are a possession. And they think they can do whatever they want with their possessions. And if you step out of their control and you step out of line, they will do everything they can to get that control back. And you need to go no contact. And if there is some abuse physically, or you're in danger physically, or they're just fully unstable, go get yourself a restraining order. Okay? Don't even mess around with that. Don't think that they can change. They will. Once they go through the devalue and discard stage, they will. Give it a little bit of time. They will never apologize. And if they do, it's always justified. I did this because, right? Hard to run when they use the court to come at you because you have kids. It is, but that's where you just get really good at playing the game. How would I deal with the ones at work? Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Kill them with kindness. Let them think they are that much better than you. Let them think that. You really remove the ability for them to keep butting up against you if you just agree with them, right? Just agree with them. It's not that hard to agree with someone. You're not agreeing with them that you did these things. You're just standing in agreement with that is their perception and their point of view, as skewed and as screwed up as it is. Just agree with that's their perception. In your own mind, that's their perception. Don't argue with them. Do not challenge them. Yeah, it's way best, especially in a work situation, a lot better to just not fight it. If it gets abusive, document all of it and report them to HR. Report it, get it documented, try and put it in writing. The best way to deal with these types of personalities, if you have an ex, if you have a coworker, or whatever, is to get everything in writing. So push it onto email or text. Push it somewhere where it's going to be documented, time and date stamped. Truly. When it comes to exes especially, I don't respond to phone calls. I don't respond to text. I only respond to email, and then I wait a little while. Like, I wait. Sometimes I'll respond to a text, but usually I will screenshot those texts as well. Set boundaries with my sister, hates it. Now she plays the pity card. My mother enables her. I remove myself from the equation. That's the easiest way to do it. Remove yourself from the equation if you can. But if you work with them, you can't, right? So document. Put it in writing. If it's an ex, you know, you can have, if you're going through a divorce, you're going to be going through a custody thing, perfectly fine to make it in the court documents. Any communication will be handled in writing so that it's all documented. If you get mailed a letter, keep the envelope that has the date stamp. If it's an email, then it's already time and date stamped for you. And then you just make a little folder in your computer and you save it under crazy person. That's just great. You always have a record. Sounds like what we were dealing with when my sister was sick. He still tries to contact my parents because he's still trying to plead his case. And he doesn't have anyone to control anymore. And that's the other thing, is once they lose someone to control, they go look for the next feed. They need someone to suck off of. They need someone to feed off of. That's the way they get their energy. When there's no emotional reaction, they get no feed. That's why I tell you guys, do not emotionally react to these people, because when you do, you are feeding them energy, and that's why you feel so drained. But when they're going off on their little tangent of you suck and you did this and you did that, even though it's theirs, so much better just to go, anything else? And in your head, flip it around. So basically you're saying, you know, you're an ass, you're this, you're that. Yeah, super easy. Same with at work, Sheila. Same with at work, you know. They want to rant and they want to rave. If it's not abusive yet, if you can document it, good, and then you can take it to HR. But so much better if you butt up against them, you're giving them that energy feed because they have that thing to butt up against. But if you're just in agreement with them, the energy just goes right by you. And there's nothing, they'll find someone else to pick on. You know, they like to fight. They love to debate. They love having an argument. They love having you in tears. They love it, and they will not apologize. And if they do apologize, like I said, it's always justified. He won't contact you because you don't react exactly. They don't. I mean, if they can't get that thing, that, you know, an emotional reaction, and when you give them an emotional reaction, even if it's like appropriate and warranted, then you're the crazy one for breaking down. You're the crazy one for crying. It's really insane. So use it, you guys, like play with it. But when you're having to deal with them, play the role. You know, I don't know what they pick on the kids so teach your kids the same damn thing. Pretty soon that person won't come home anymore. Don't go look for a fight someplace else. Teach your kids. Don't argue with them. Don't challenge them. Don't. And when they do go off, tell your kids it's not about you. Everything he says, it's about him. Everything she says, it's about her, right? No point in fighting it. Did that with crazy ex-boss. Yeah, if you sit there and say, and you don't want to say anything sarcastic. So what Brenda's talking about is something I teach in Charm Life, you know, interesting perspective, interesting point of view. Interesting. Rather than being dismissive and fighting them because they don't know what to say, right? When you don't interact, when you don't react, they're like, they have nowhere to go, you know. But then when you're sitting there asking them, did I do anything else? Is there anything else? I'm so sorry. They're sort of getting what they want. You're taking the steam out of it. You're not really giving them the emotional charge. So try that, you guys. Let me know how that goes. Truly, let me know how that goes. It will give you more power. It will give you your power back. Take on that role of the actor or the actress in your own life. Know that you are powerful. Know that these things they're saying is about them. It's not about you. If you have personalized it, you need to learn how to flip that stuff. If you don't know how to do all of that and you really want your confidence and your power back, get into Charm Life. I put the link inside of the description on here. Now's the time. Right? Narcissists are on the rise. Sociopaths, psychopaths, holy crap, they're on the rise. And while it's a little disturbing, I will tell you there are good people in this world. That relationship that I had, the last one that was so abusive and crazy making, because I was in the middle of fighting cancer naturally, it was crazy making, but I am so grateful. I learned so much from that relationship, and it truly prepared me to embrace receiving love from a nice guy, from someone who's supportive, not pretending to be. And there's a different frequency, like there's a different energy behind it. Yeah. Best thing since ice cream. Kelly, you've only been in for like a week. It's so cool. You haven't even done the exercise yet, and you're already getting movement. So I think that's awesome too. I love, Kelly and I were on the phone earlier, and I hope I can share this, but one of the things I really love is when my students in Charm Life or any of my programs or readings tell me, but especially Charm Life, because that's like my magnum opus, that there really isn't any other program out there like that. Like people promise all this transformation, weight loss, all these big things, and they can't deliver. And Charm Life, I don't over promise, but I do over deliver. And what you get out of that course is life-changing. It will change your life. Truly, it will if you do the work. I guarantee it. I don't know anyone that's gotten out of that and actually done the work that hasn't transformed their lives and done a 180-degree turn. So go check it out. And if you don't believe me, you guys, go watch the video. It's each student, previous students saying it in their own words. Joni healing a mass in her breast on the table at the doctor. Brenda learning how to love herself. There's just so many amazing people in this group, and I hope you guys will join, because 2018 is a time of cooperation and balance and partnership. And guess what? That also becomes the challenge for the year, right? This year was all about new beginnings. You guys saw a whole new beginning of change and breakdown of structures within our country and across the world. And it's been challenging. Well, 2018 is a 2-year. It's all about cooperation. It's about balance. It's about union. It's about partnership. But in order to have those things be harmonious, functioning, we also have to get rid of the things that are blocking that. So expect challenges, you guys, but you don't have to have them. Like, I'm so excited. I met mine and we're having an amazing time. And while we may have little challenges, we can actually work through. Nobody has to be cursed at, yelled at, cut down, or abused. It's amazing how that works. So I want that for you guys. All right, you guys, I will see you later. Have a wonderful evening. Those of you in Charm Life, let's get on it. I'll see you guys in class in about a little less than 40 minutes. Have a great night.